my sisters, higher we shall go. Moving forward, never.
Everything we're going through is a learning process. So if a woman is watching me today and she feels, she's at a crossroad in her life, she should understand that that is the test and that is the learning curve. You can build your own reputation, you can build your own legacy, you can build who it is that you are, and you can build that person with the love of your life who also does not have.
Backward, by the help of God Almighty.
My name is Yetunde Adeniji. I'm the Senior Special Assistant to Mr. President on school feeding. Before my appointment, I was the SA on Women Affairs to the Right Honorable Speaker of the House, that's Honorable Tajuddin Abbas. I was his SA Women Affairs for a bit. Also before then, I have been a board member at the National Research Institute for Chemical Technology in Zaria. Before then, I was under the former Minister of Youth and Sports, Sunday Dari. I was part of his focal lead for the Nigerian Youth Investment Fund that came out as of that time in the previous administration. So yes, and I've dabbled into politics for quite a while now. You might see me as sort of a comrade when it comes to that, and we've done a lot as it regards women, young women, youth involvement in politics, ensuring that we have a better community, better society for all. So yes, that is a brief history of who Yetunde Adeniji is. As an SSA to the President, my major role is ensuring that Mr. President's vision for Nigerian children as it regards education, as it regards retention, as it regards nutrition, comes to fulfillment. It's an interesting journey so far, being the Senior Special Assistant to Mr. President on school feeding. I've got to learn a lot. I've got to contribute a lot also. And, every day you keep learning, you keep growing. We've, from the office here, we identified right from the beginning some of the issues that surround child growth, retention in schools and all of that, and we found out that most times it's always tied to food. You would agree with me that a hungry child is an angry child, and that child will not even have time to even learn anything. Moreover, it also would bring about malnutrition, and we found out that 8 out of every 10 children, especially in some local government areas, they suffer from one form of malnutrition or the other, which is what this government is trying to stop. So we went on a wild campaign to ensure that, when it comes to the adequate nutrition given at the local level, these kids are not found wanting. In some localities, you see that there is just one particular food that some of these children eat all the time and they are missing other vitamins. And in some other localities, you don't even see it at all because, they don't have access to good food, so to say. So where our office comes in is ensuring that at the poorest of the poor communities, we get in partners, we get in NGOs, people who have who are into CSR, so to say. As part of their CSR, they are ensuring that kids are being fed in schools. So we get these individuals, we get these corporate companies or whoever they are, and we take them to state government especially at the poorest of the poor localities, to ensure that, children there benefit from whatever it is that they are bringing on board. And by that, we're synergizing the state's involvement also in these programs. As it is, the school feeding program for Nigeria, which is under the Ministry of Humanitarian, federal government, halted it in the past to ensure, accountability and sustainability for the program. And it hasn't kickstarted yet, but they are working tirelessly day and night from the ministry to ensure that it starts off. And we felt, before these programs kickstart, what are we talking about? We want this program to be sustainable. And for it to be sustainable, you need the community involvement. And when we're talking about community involvement, yes, you need the local people within the community, you need the chiefs, you need the elders within the society, but you really need the women. And the women play a huge part in our program. How do they play a huge part? The women are the mothers, first and foremost. They are our caregivers within that community. When we're talking about cooks, it is the women we're talking about, because we hire them to cook food for these children. And I've identified that, it's not just about government coming in with aid, bringing money, and then money finishes and all of that. How do we sustain these women to continue the work that it is that they are doing? So that if tomorrow, there is no form of intervention, the program can still run on its own without the intervention of anybody, And we found out that we need to invest in these women, especially within the agricultural sector. We need to start building greenhouses for them. We need to start, getting the women who are involved in poultry farming, the ones who are involved in grains, putting them together, putting them in a cooperative, so to say, so that when they start to grow their own feed, and encouraging the children also as part of their curriculum to venture into agriculture, so that most of the feed and the food that it is that they are, growing, even if they are selling it to members of the public, the 30% of what is left is still coming back to the community through the school feeding. So they are donating it. So it's more or less like, I won't call it an adjust system, but I know that there's the system of where, whatever profits that you get, you always still give back to the community. So that is what we're working tirelessly on at the local government level. We're working also here to ensure that, we get these women to, first of all, understand what the program is all about, understand their role within the program, and then also encourage them to see how we can, get them into these types of activities as it regards farming, as it regards whatever it is within those communities. When it comes to integrity and leadership itself, you have to lead by example. You have to show individuals and the society that, look, this is who you are, this is the morals that, you have. Our society, growing up back in the day, we have values from parents, we have values from our community leaders and all of that. If you grew up in a society like the way I did, you would know that. I was telling a friend of mine the other day that in my house, if myself and a friend of mine committed any atrocity or anything, we would be apprehended and scolded, just so the same way I would be apprehended and scolded in my friend's house, But growing up and still, having some of those values, you would know that, when it comes to leadership, there are things that people look out for. And if you intend to be a leader, these are the traits that you have to have, which is honesty, diplomacy, you have to be empathic also. You have to have the emotional intelligence also to be able to lead people, because it's not quite easy, as such. For what it is that we have done, most of the partners that have come to meet us, we never really went soliciting or lobbying for them. And this is part of the integrity part we're talking about. Now, our office is feeding kids in vulnerable communities. We're doing in about 9 states now, where most of these partners and NGOs will come and meet us and tell us this is what they want to do. And, after our security checks on them, and we are comfortable with what it is they are bringing to the table, we select some states that we take them to. Because the process is seamless, so easy, it gets to a point where some of them don't even believe half of the time, because they always feel, oh, you have to pass through some certain cadre of issues before you get to this particular level. And, that part of you being, a man or a woman of your word comes to play. And word of mouth goes out. So people, tend to look up to you in that regard of, oh, this is somebody that I know that if I am working with, I can go to rest, because this person is somebody who has integrity. And everybody who is in a position of power is supposed to, have that quality, so that people would first of all feel comfortable, people can relate, and have ease of mind, knowing fully well that whoever it is that is leading them along the right path. If I may say, we have people of integrity within our community, within our society, not only in government, even amongst our, environment where we live. We still have 1 or 2 people that still have those core values of truth, of honesty, and of dignity. And this is something that young people have to emulate. This is something that young people need to look at and strive to become even better than those people. We see those changes on a daily basis. It's especially when you're working with children, you tend to see life differently. Not 1, not 2, not 3 stories of a family not being able to feed their children, and the child goes hungry throughout the day, and that 1 meal a day is what sustains the child. In some cases, I've heard stories. A teacher was telling me the other time in Plateau State, was it, where he said that that the food that they were giving the little girl, every other person was eating, and she was looking for a bag to put the food inside. And they were asking her, why is she doing that? And she was like, because she wants to take it home so she can give the rest of her siblings. So you can tell that this is a program that is dear to the hearts of a lot of us, to be honest with you. Sometimes I really can't describe it when you see the influx of children run. In some parts of the north, the children that are out of school have stopped going to school because obviously they just need to eat food. It just has to do with food. And, we found out that some of these children are being lured by bandits, lured by criminal elements. And the way they are being paid is by food. And if you see what they give them to eat, you would not even give an animal that to eat. But then these kids don't have any other option, and that is what, they rely on to eat. And because of that, they go on committing crimes. But through these types of programs, they get a well-nourished, meal where they know that they can eat. The nutritional content will help them. And remember, when you eat a nourished meal, your cognitive abilities improve, your sight, everything improves, So we're not looking for a society of children that are deformed or that have one malnutrition or the other just because they've not been able to get access to quality nutrients and proteins. We're trying to ensure that at those their formative years, they have all the nutrients it is that they can have so that they can grow up actually to become better people within the society. There are studies that show, there's reports that shows from the UN, from WFP, from all these international organizations of how school feeding has directly impacted the lives of young minds, not just in Nigeria. I'm talking across the globe. We were partnered with Imperial College London, PCD, and the research that we did actually shows significant improvement when a child is being fed. It's not just, and mind you, this program, like I said, is not just about the child. It's a community program, meaning that the child benefits, the mother benefits, the local farmers too benefit. Thereby, the value chain of that particular program, you see it within the community. The agricultural produce is boosting because people are buying produce, and the farmers are selling the produce even to the system. The women are having stipends, extra money to be able to do what it is that they have to do. You'll be amazed of how those women have been able to turn lemons into lemonades with the monies that they are making, and they are becoming, self-sustaining also, using those funds to feed their families. So, like I said, it's a community program. It's not just about getting food, feeding a child and calling it a day. No, the value chain is incredible. And it brings peace to the community because, the elders are involved, the religious leaders, the title rulers, everybody is involved with it because everybody is watching it. So if there's a problem, they know where to go to. If there's an issue, they know who to go and meet. So it creates a sense of calm within that community because everybody is involved. Most of the challenges that I have got, they are not challenges per se to me because I don't see anything as a challenge. I just see it as an opportunity to get better. But one of the things that we need to, yes, there's a mindset towards the program itself. Whatever has happened in the past has happened in the past. And people need to understand that this administration is particular about improving lives of people. And, one of the reasons that it hasn't even kickstarted is because Mr. President wants it to be sustainable. He wants every hiccup in that program, to be eradicated. So it goes to show you, how important and how serious, feeding children is to the president. He understands hunger. He understands what it is for a child to go hungry. And if you've noticed recently, most of the social intervention programs that are being done it is to the grassroots, because that is where all those kids are and that is where, poverty is emanating from. So everything he's directing it now back to the grassroots. I mean, with the local government autonomy, we can also clearly state that he knows that when prosperity is starting, it's starting from the local government up. So it's our mindset that we need to change. That is one. We need to not see some things as, oh, this is government's program. It's our program. It's your program. It's my program. You have the right to go into any school as a parent and say, look, you'd want to see what they are feeding your child today. You understand? You have the right to see whether what they are doing is good or what they are doing is not good. If it is not good, then you tell them the rooms for improvement. If it is good, you commend them and let it keep up. That is the community, togetherness that we're looking for in this program. It's not just, oh, this is government and whatever government wants to do is their business. It has nothing to do. In fact, the people feeding children today they are apolitical. That we have taken to some states, they are apolitical. They are not government based. They are people that just sat down and felt that no, there has to be a change. And they are the ones that want to start this change. Most of the communities we took some of these NGOs to have, they've never been there. They've never set a foot in their lives there. You know, it doesn't matter whether you are from the north, the south, the east, the west, they just want to create change. And I think every Nigerian should look at that and put that upon him or herself to say, look, we need to start to reorient our way of thinking and not blame a particular person or a group of people. Let us take charge this time around and let us see it with ourselves and let us follow it through. You know, in your community, even in your neighborhood, you can become the neighborhood watch of your community, you know, and start something that will impact within that your community. It's the same thing as school feeding. So if you know that they are feeding in this particular school, you can go there. You ask questions. You see what it is they are giving. If it does make sense to you, then you commend. You commend the teachers, you commend the farmers, you commend the people that are within that community. If you feel there is room for improvement, you also inform them that I think this is how you should do it. That is the community engagement and the interaction that we're looking for from members of the community. First and foremost, I'm a Nigerian, a proud one at that. When I go into the rabbit hole of my family background, it's quite funny because I have family members that are from the east, I have family members that are from the southwest, and I have family members from the north. And we are all one big family, you know. But yes, I was born and brought up in Kaduna. My parents are from the southwest. My mom is from Ekiti. My late dad, was from Lagos. But my parents moved to the north. I grew up under my stepfather, who was a northern military man. And he taught me a lot in life, and he instilled, values of how and who a human being should be, the legacy you should leave behind through your name. For him, he was not a billionaire, but if you mention his name till tomorrow, he's been dead a couple of years now. But people within the military circle will tell you that he was a great man. He was an honorable man. And he used to tell us one thing growing up. If I don't have money, or if I cannot afford it, you were not meant to have it. So just leave it as it is. And that was how we grew up. If there was something that, we were always looking at and he couldn't afford it, you were not meant to have this thing. Just leave it at that and just pray to God one day. If you really, really want it, you work hard towards it, you will get it. My house was a strict military zone keep-off kind of house. But it was good, It was good. We did not really grow up emotional in my home. I think the emotional part, we took it from outside. But then you would know that there was a lot of love there. But it was tough love, which we understood. From growing up in the north, after school, I then started my career working in an insurance company. It was called IEI at the time, International Energy Insurance, and they were, I don't know, maybe I wanted to be as far away from home as possible, and they were down south. So I started working at IEI. I think I worked there for about 6, 7, 8 years, if I'm not mistaken. And I worked there as a strategist. We were there. It was an interesting job, understanding, the insurance sector, understanding the values and all of that. After I left there, I worked, I had a couple of jobs until I decided to venture into my own business. And I started a procurement company, procuring PPE items. But then again, I was very, very passionate about governance. I was one of those very loud activists, especially on social media, who I believed that if you were looking for a change, you start it by yourself. If you were not happy about something, you would express yourself about it. If, government did well, you say they did well. If they did not do well, you would say that, look, this is where I think this should change. If government can look towards this way. And, people noticed and said, look, why don't you start off, into politics where your voice could be heard? You don't just, sit behind your computer. Come out and be a part of a movement. And I took up the challenge, and then I started. And my early career was in the All Progressives Congress. I started off with the national youth leader at the time, Dasuki Jallo. He gave me an opportunity. Most times when you have to take a decision, you put it before God. And whenever he leads you, you follow that leading. And that is how I have, survived till today, where I am. We as women, we have a lot of challenges in the sense that people think, oh, if you're a woman, it's supposed to be easy. Actually, it's not easy. You have to prove that you are not a certain type of person. You have to prove what a woman has to prove. A man might just need to just say it out once. But for a woman, you have to be able to say it 10 times so that people will even at the time you even say it at 10 times, people will still not believe you. So it's not an easy task being a woman. Let's get that straight first. Most times, I first tell women to breathe. Just find a quiet place, breathe in and breathe out first. You need to be able to first identify the issue that you have. Once that issue is identified, then you need to start from searching from within. How can I turn this issue or make these lemons that are in my hands, turn them into lemonades? That is the difficult side. No, that's actually not the difficult side if you look at it. It is the implementation that is the difficult side. But the truth of the matter is, if I come and tell you, oh, be the best you can be this, be that, yeah, I'm just talking political. And I'm just being a motivational talker, which is, let us not lie, it doesn't happen that way. But the truth is, what will be, will be. And the truth is that God Almighty does not allow his own, to suffer like that. Everything we're going through is a learning process. So if a woman is watching me today and she feels, she's at a crossroad in her life, she should understand that that is the test and that is the learning curve. You need to be able to stop, breathe, and understand what it is that you want to do. What is it that makes you happy? What is it that you derive joy from, that even if you start off now and it doesn't bring any form of benefit to you, it's still something that you can still hang on to for a while. Find your passion and follow your passion through. The things that you need to ensure that you have on your side: 1, you put God first in everything that you do. 2, you are respectful to those who are around you. I hear a lot of stories that, once a woman becomes a big woman like this, or once she has something, she gets, she develops shoulder pads, and, she becomes disrespectful to her spouse, to whoever it is that is around her. Even though, in some cases, in just very few cases that it's always like that. we still need to be very humble and meek. Be strong, but be humble. You only show strength when it is important to show the strength, when the need absolutely arises, But in all you do, be humble, be meek, and be focused. That is the advice I can give any woman watching, because I have been there. I understand. And in my own case, it's, just even sitting down intimidates everybody, before you need to talk. So there are ways you need to really make people understand that, yes, you might be passionate about a lot of things, but it's because you care. It's because you care about this particular issue. That is the reason why you talk the way you do, you act the way you do. But it is in no means trying to downplay or disrespect anybody or anything. So I will advise women to follow that passion through and follow it with grace. There are tears that will come along the way. Cry it. Cry it. At the end of the day, wipe your tears away, stand up, and get moving again. I want her to understand that a mistake is not a death sentence. We are not perfect in all that we do. Doesn't mean that we should go on living imperfect lives or doing what is not good over and over. But a mistake is not a death sentence. She needs to, at a very early age, be able to understand who she is. Some people go through life not knowing who they are. Some people go through life, asking questions and questions, falling into wrong hands. You should learn from people's mistakes. You should read a lot. You should know who people are and learn some people's life choices and use those life choices to understand where you are coming from and what you want for yourself. There are not enough, there are a lot of godfathers around, but there are not a lot of godmothers. And that is one thing we, as the older, community, need to ensure. That you see, the young ladies that are coming up, we were once young and passionate and, we had zeal and all of that. But the truth of the matter is, we also made our mistakes. And we learned a lot over the years from those mistakes. How will I sit down now and look at a young girl about to, go through that same lineup? There are some things that, yes, it's only when you have experienced them that it will dawn on you. But when you can notice, you have the opportunity to be able to tell someone that, look, I have been here. I understand it. This is how it is going to end. I'm not using it to judge you, but I'm just warning you so that you can have a change of heart. It's as simple as that. Sweet words never kill anyone, There are ways and there are manner of approach that you approach people. So, for me, I feel it's a two-way thing. We have our own role to play, in order to mentor, to guide, you understand, no matter what, and to be free of judgment for some of these young ladies. And the young ladies need to also be able to study and learn who these women are, and then make their own life decision and choices based off of what their understanding is at the point. They should understand that marrying a rich man is not a key to happiness. Young ladies should understand that that is not the life. You can build your own reputation, you can build your own legacy, you can build who it is that you are, and you can build that person with the love of your life who also does not have. And you people build together. In fact, in my opinion, there are more stories that come out that are fascinating. I was reading a story about a woman and her husband who've been together for 45 years. And if you read how they started, this woman was with him when he was basically sleeping outside one shelter somewhere in America. And today, if you see them, they have grandkids, they have great-grandchildren, they've built a legacy for themselves. And you could tell that they have been through fire together, real fire. So, these are the types of stories that people should read, should emulate, should understand. And if you're a woman that wants to make it on your own too, there's no shame in it, but just learn to identify who you are on time, understand that person, and then start off from there. First of all, I'd like to say congratulations to Prudent Women on their 50th year anniversary. It's great when I hear, of organizations and societies like this that come together to empower one another. I know that when you build a woman, you build a nation. That is the honest truth. And when women come together to empower themselves, there is nothing that they cannot achieve. I don't know how God built us, but He built us specially. So I first of all must commend, your organization, Prudent Women, and of course, obviously, our doors and my doors are open to Prudent Women. There are a lot of things that we can actually do together, especially when it comes to, the training, advocacy of women empowerment at the grassroots level. People need to understand that the women at the grassroots level are extremely amazing set of women who are, you could tell that these are women that keep their communities together, and they are very industrious, they are very hardworking. We need to be able to go to those local governments to see how we can impact and empower these women. And in empowering these women, we're empowering homes. So I would love to see in the nearest future a collaboration, with Prudent Women, where we would go to the grassroots. We would go and, advocate for women empowerment at the grassroots. We will also, sit and advocate with the husbands also, because most of these women, they are, how should I put it now? Their husbands, there's still this, backlash of, oh, what would I say, or what would I do? How will my husband feel about this and all of that? So we need to also educate the husbands, to tell them that, look, if you're empowering this woman, you're also empowering yourself one way or the other. And by no means or any way will this bring, your level of respect down, So we need to make them understand at that level. There's a lot of work to be done, and I believe that, with time, God will, see us through, and all of this would come to fruition by God's grace.